This is a live stream, and in this video, I'm going to connect something I already connected from just a couple weeks ago about the Economist magazine and having to do with the World Cup, because the World Cup starts on June 11th, which is the day I'm telling you Washington State is going to be struck. Get out of Washington State because they're going to take a bite out of the Apple State, okay? Washington State is known for being the Apple State, okay? And of course, you know, the next 9/11 is going to be in Washington State, okay? And and 9/11 happened in Manhattan, which is known as the Big Apple. I mean, New York is known as the Big Apple. And now they're going to take a bite out of the Apple State on June 11th in Washington State, okay? So get out. Now, so the World Cup starts on June 11th, okay? And today, this Trump got awarded the FIFA Peace Prize. My phone is not working, so there's no volume. So I'm just going to show you what Trump. And by the way, folks, I have two predictions that on June 11th, Washington State gets struck, and it all has to do it all has to do for the real Antichrist, which is Elvis. And Trump is the image of Elvis, who is going to get his head wound, who's his real head wound on August 4th. When I say real, I mean compared to what the supposed thing that happened to him in Butler, Pennsylvania, to his ear, which is a bunch of nonsense. But and I'll explain how it's connected also to this puzzle. But Trump gets his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. Okay, now let's look at Trump getting his award. Okay, this FIFA Peace Prize award, most ridiculous thing ever. So he's going to be coming on stage to get it. Look at the background here. Hold on. My whole phone is cracked, folks. So just go with it. It makes for a creepy scene because this dude is creepy anyway. So there's the FIFA Peace Prize, and they're showing all these, you know, the images in the background. Looks like hellfire behind him. I don't know why it's getting so. Anyway, he was awarded a medallion too, besides this stupid, you know, this thing right here, calling it the FIFA Peace Prize. As if, you know, what in the hell is, you know, what does this have to do with anything to do with, you know? Anyway, forget this. But anyway, that was the ceremony, and he was talking about how he's saving millions of people and all this stuff. The dude, because he's stopping all these wars. But anyway, so what makes it so important, okay, is because the Economist magazine, all right, because they, you know, they love to have predictive programming in their, you know, in their future, you know, they put it, you know, in our faces, you know. They did that with 9/11 too, but nobody noticed it back then. You know, we weren't awake. Anyway, so let me just show you this. Economist magazine, The World Ahead 2026. And what makes this so important, like I said, I showed it already, but let me just show it one more time. Let's see if I can make it. Let's see. I'm gonna be able to. You know what? Like I said, I'm probably not gonna be able to do it right. But anyway, so this is the Economist magazine. All right. And listen, I can show you a lot of other stuff too connected to this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to concentrate on one thing, and that is what this dude is doing right here. And so this is the Economist magazine. So all these things are going on. You guys can look at it yourselves. I'm not going to dig into that, all right, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But see this one right here. See, he's kicking the ball. All right, so this is supposedly a soccer ball he's kicking. All right, because that's a soccer player. And he's kicking it off. That's what that means. Okay, so all these things will be happening, you know, when on June 11th, because that's the World Cup day. Okay, you understand? World Cup next year starts on June 11th. Okay, now today I told you Trump got his FIFA Peace Prize. Okay, so he got an award for peace. Yeah, right. Okay, what does the Bible tell you? Okay, it tells you, you know, when they speak of peace and safety, sudden destruction comes, right? But when is that sudden destruction? It's not tomorrow. You understand? There could be some predictive programming events that happen in the next 2 days, but because Pearl Harbor is all connected to this, which if you see my last live stream, you know what I'm talking about. It all has to do with what they were waiting for Pearl Harbor to be 84 years old. Okay, I'm not going to show that. Go watch my Pearl Harbor video that's connected all to Elvis and Trump. Anyway, um, so now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the sudden destruction. Okay, when they say peace and safety, and this whole thing is the biblical beast out of the sea event. This June 11th event is the biblical beast out of the sea, and one of the heads of the beast gets a mortal head wound that was healed, and that's the Trump connection, and that's why these two predictions, June 11th and August 4th, they have to connect to each other. All right. Anyway, so the Economist magazine is telling you that it kicks off all of this stuff that's happening in the world. It's going to kick off on June 11th because that's when World Cup starts. All right, and 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 how you know for sure that this is connecting to this? All right, because stupid Trump just got that Peace Prize award. Okay, and do you know that soccer is called football? They call it football. And in America, football, what is the Vince Lombardi trophy called? I'm stupid. I should have that. What is the Super Bowl trophy called? See, it's called the Vince Lombardi trophy, the Super Bowl trophy. Okay? Let's find out. When was Vince Lombardi born? See when he's born? June 11th. Okay, now do you understand what I'm showing you here? So the World Cup starts on June 11th. Trump just got a trophy for the FIFA Peace Prize. The FIFA Peace Prize. World Cup starts on June 11th. It's called football. The football trophy for America football, the trophy is the Vince Lombardi trophy. Vince Lombardi's born on June 11th. So the trophy is June 11th. Do you understand? So when Trump got that award, it's telling you 6/11. All right, do you understand? Does anyone not understand that? Am I making sense? And hold on. Let's see here. How many games or teams are there going to be in the World Cup this year? So for the first time, I meant to ask how many teams, not games. So this is teams. For the first time, it's going to be for the first time it's going to be 48 teams. This is the first time that it's ever going to be 48 teams. So there's like the 8-4 connection because 4-8 looks like the numbers 8-4. Hold on, man. I'm about ready to lose it with this thing. So the first time on June 11th, it's going to have a 48 connection. Okay? This is the first time. So remember, it starts on 6/11 and 4/8 looks like 8/4. Because you know the date in the UK, they say 4/8 for August 4th. Okay? And when did Elvis die? When did Elvis die? August 16th, 1977. You guys are going to see it backwards because my phone's messed up. But August 16th, 1977. So Elvis is 48 years dead now. He's been dead for 48 years. And on June 11th, he's still going to be 48 years dead. Because Elvis is the real Antichrist. Trump is his image. Because they're copying God. When God, who is Jesus, was walking in the flesh, as God in the flesh, God was still in heaven as the Father. Okay, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, these three are one. It's one God on that throne. And they manifested as three. But what I'm trying to tell you is they're copying God. Because Elvis is playing God in heaven while Trump is playing God in the flesh. And what happened to God in the flesh? He was crucified, Jesus. And he rose from the dead. That's what they're going to do with Trump. On August 4th, he gets his head wound and he rises from the dead, supposed dead. All right? Anyway, so that's why it's the biblical beast out of the sea event. In the Bible, it tells you one of the heads of the beast. And what better head to get the head wound than Trump, who compares himself to Elvis? You know what I mean? Now, the only thing I could come up with as far as like the date connections, as far as the date connections, today Trump got the FIFA Peace Prize, which is the 12/5 date, which can be set 5/12 in the UK. Today's December 5th, so 5/12, 12/5, and the fifth letter and the 12th letter is the EL, like Elvis. 5 is the E, 12 is the L. Okay, so it's, that's a connection because the EL means God in Hebrew. Now, from the FIFA Peace Prize to 6/11 next year, look at that. It's 6 months, 6 days if you don't add the day, 6 months, 7 days if you add the day. So it's the 66-67 connection. And why is that important? Because the word twin equals 66 and Elvis equals 67 in gematria, right? And the 66-67 also connects to Trump, because Trump is pay attention, Trump is the 44th person to become president, 45th president to take office, 44th person, 45th president, and of course he became the 47th. But the 44-45 is the important piece of the puzzle, because the square root of 44 is 6.6, the square root of 45 is 6.7. Okay? And if you put them two together, the square root of 4445 is 66.67. So it's it's 666 and 67 because I told you Elvis was a twin. Okay? And that's why the Twin Towers fell 66 years, 8 months, 4 days after Elvis was born. Twin equals 66. And Elvis had an identical twin that was sacrificed at birth. Trump is the replacement twin. Okay? And and twin equals 66, and Elvis's name equals 67. Okay. Anyway, like I said, there's just too much to go through. I just wanted to explain how the 611 fit into this puzzle. It's interesting. The president, because Trump is a president, right? So the president of the FIFA World Cup, he's born on March 23rd. And I guess this is just a coincidence, but from March 23rd to Trump's birthday is 84 days. This Gianni Infantino, whatever the heck. And it's interesting, from Elvis's birthday to his birthday is 2 months, 16 days. 216th day of the year is 8/4, the day Trump gets his head wound. And Trump's born on 6/14. 6 times 14 is 84. Okay, and of course, Obama was the president before Trump, and Obama was born on August 4th. Okay. I know this is a lot. For anyone who's new, you're probably saying, what is this guy talking about? It's too much numbers and too much nonsense. Just focus on what made sense. Because unless you watch my videos, go to the live section of this channel. That's where all my recent videos are. Go watch the last 6 months of videos. Unless you know my videos, you're not going to understand any of this. Okay? And interestingly, the first FIFA Cup, let me show you this. When was the first FIFA Cup? Wait. When was the first FIFA Cup award? Man, I'm not sure. It was in 1930, but I'm not sure if it was a... what was the date of the first World Cup FIFA? I don't know what to ask. It says July 13th, 1930 FIFA World Cup. So I'm not sure what that means, but let me just tell you why I'm bringing this up. Because look, it says July 13th, 1930. July 13th is when Trump got his ear clipped. Okay? When did Trump get his ear shot in Butler, Pennsylvania? See, look. It was July 13th, right? But look at the time. 6:11 on the clock. You see? You see what I'm talking about? 6:11 on the clock. And he went back to Butler, Pennsylvania 84 days later. Okay? 84 days later, he went back to Butler, Pennsylvania. And he did a moment of silence. You'll see my videos if you watch it. He does a moment of silence. Trump says, at this time, it's 6:11, exactly whatever he says on and at this moment, it's exactly 6:11, the moment of the shooting, 12 weeks later, 12 weeks is 84 days. So he said both my predictions in his rally when he went back to Butler, Pennsylvania after getting his ear clipped. The time was 6:11, 84 days later. You see how perfect this is? And if you really want to know why 6:11 is connected to 8/4, watch the Pearl Harbor video, the last one before this one, and then watch all the videos connecting to my two predictions, okay? Under the live section. Anyway, other than that, I don't have any more to say. If you guys want to bring up anything, go ahead. Anybody saying anything in the chat that I'm missing? Hold on. Yeah, they supposedly said there was going to be a UFC fight on June 14th, Trump's birthday, which is the Army's birthday too, and World Blood Donor Day and Flag Day on Trump's birthday. But we're talking about June 11th. which is the day Washington State gets struck. That's the World Cup starts. But what's important is that the World Cup, FIFA World Cup starts on June 11th, and it's called football. And America's football, its trophy is called the Vince Lombardi Trophy. And Vince Lombardi's born on June 11th. So the trophy is June 11th, they're telling you, in football. And the World Cup starts on June 11th, which it's happened before. The World Cup has been on June 11th before, but it just wasn't the year yet. They had to wait for Pearl Harbor to turn 84. If you, like I said, go watch my Pearl Harbor video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay? Because from Elvis's birthday to Pearl Harbor was 6 years, 11 months exactly. So they had to wait for the 84 connection. So it was 84 years later from Pearl Harbor. Now, in 2 days, it's going to be December 7th. It's going to be the 84th anniversary. And on 6/11 next year, when Washington State gets struck, it'll still be 84 years that Pearl Harbor's happened. So you have the 6/11 connection, because from Elvis's birth to Pearl Harbor was 6 years, 11 months. And then from there, it's 84 years. 6/11 to 8/4. You understand? Yeah. I'm going to be doing another video about the 6/7, so don't worry. I'll show you guys what all that 6/7 stuff is about. You know. Yeah, I have it all written. It's all about Elvis. Okay, everything. All right. Elvis is the real Antichrist. All right. He is literally. He represents who Lucifer was in heaven, and then he fell and became Satan. And yeah, that whole soccer ball thing connecting to Tom Hanks, which connects to Elvis, because he was filming the Elvis movie when he got the 19 sickness. He was doing the soccer, he remember that volleyball that was in the movie? It was called Wilson, but really that volleyball was supposed to be a soccer ball. And he's married to a woman named Wilson, you know. I'm just saying, because Tom Hanks, it's all connected to all of this Elvis puzzle. If you've seen my videos. And Castaway, the movie with the volleyball, which was supposed to be a soccer ball. But Castaway is all about Elvis, too. I mean, there's scenes in there about Elvis. Yeah. Yeah, believe me, I know all about Vince Lombardi, his death, and all that stuff. Yes, absolutely. I've shown it in the past. So, and like I said, the reason I'm not playing you videos is because my phone, the volume thing is broken, so I can't show you videos. But if you watch my live streams, you'll see that I've shown it before. All that stuff. Why Elvis? Because he represents Lucifer. Lucifer was a musician in heaven. That's how he bamboozled he was the Pied Piper, the Peepee, the Peace Prize, the Peepee. They smoked the peace pipe. You know what I mean? The Peepee is the Antichrist. The Pied Piper. And like I said, he was a musician. So what better way for Satan, the prince of the power of the air, Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. It's just a wait and see thing. But if we can get people to get out of Washington State before June 11th, that's what we're trying to do. All right. If it was, listen, knowing what I know, I would have moved years ago. If for anyone who lived in Washington State, okay, I live in Glendale, California. I don't live in Washington State. But what I'm saying is, uh, if you live in Washington State, I would have get out of there. All right, I'm telling you, it's they're going to make it a graveyard. All right, for the people who don't know, that Elvis, he died at the age of 42. Washington's the 42nd state. Okay, and Seattle's in King County, where Washington is. Elvis is known as the King, and Elvis, he has a TV graveyard in his where in his home. This before he died, obviously, he had a TV graveyard in at Graceland. That's what his home was called. In the back, it was called a TV graveyard. And why is that? Because he used to shoot the TV sets. And what does TV equal? The letter T and V equals 42. So when he was shooting the TV with a gun equals 42. He was shooting Washington State. He's shooting Washington State, and it's going to be a graveyard. That's what they're telling you. Okay? It's a TV graveyard. Because what are they going to do? If some explosion happens, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to pick up all the bodies? No. It's going to be a graveyard, that whole area. Do you understand? They're not going to sit there and pluck out all the bodies that are in the water or everywhere. That would be a monumental task. They're just going to shut it down over there. Yeah, anyway, good comments by the people in the chat. Yeah, like I said, there's predictive programming everywhere, so we'll see. And that's why the football game, the Super Bowl, is at Levi's Stadium this year. Levi's is Elvis. Okay? If you watch my Super Bowl videos, go watch the live section of this channel. All right? You'll understand what I'm talking about. Just only watch the Elvis, Trump, and my prediction videos. You can skip over anything else you see. All right. I'm going to end the chat now. Any last questions? Yeah, like I said, this video wasn't fluid, and I didn't get to show videos because my phone is messed up, the volume and everything. So it definitely needs to, a better, I'll redo it in the future before the World Cup. Yeah, well, like I said, I believe it starts on June 11th. When it says kicks off, like I said, the Economist magazine is showing you that he's kicking it, and all of this kicks off, he's saying. It's a soccer player. All right. Yeah. Anyway, folks, I've been under the weather. That's why I'm not, wanting to go any longer than this. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Anyway, like I said, I'll do a better version of it in the future. Anyway, God bless all of you. Jesus is God. End of video.